Okay, students, today we are going to talk about another important topic of your course outline, which is about the nutrition in bacteria. As all living organisms, bacteria also needs food, energy for their survival, growth, and the nourishment. So, the process of the acquiring energy and the material is called the nutrition in bacteria. So if we talk about the bacterial nutrition, so as all other organisms, bacteria also needs a certain important elements or the compounds for their growth, for their development. Like bacteria require the carbon, nitrogen, sulfur, and most importantly phosphorus in their nutrition. And they obtained, if we talk about the carbon, they obtained carbon from the inorganic or the organic compounds. Like in their surrounding, there are a number of the organic or inorganic compounds are present by which the bacteria can obtain the carbon. And nitrogen can be obtained by the bacteria via the atmosphere. As we all know, there are certain bacteria which are present in our soil and they can perform the function of the nitrogen fixation. What is meant by the nitrogen fixation means bacteria can utilize the atmospheric nitrogen directly for their growth and for the formation of the certain important compounds for the production of their biomass. So bacteria can also use the atmospheric nitrogen directly or in form of the inorganic compounds. They can also use the nitrogen in form of the inorganic compounds. And what are those inorganic compounds? They are the nitrates, nitrites, and ammonia. Okay. The next important compound which is necessary for the bacterial growth, that is the sulfur. Sulfur is the most important compound which is needed by the bacteria for the synthesis of the certain amino acids. Many of you know that what are the amino acids? Amino acids are the building blocks of the protein. So for the synthesis of the protein, bacteria or any other organism needs the amino acids. So sulfur is the most important compound which is the part of the many important amino acids. So sulfur is needed by the bacteria for the formation of the amino acids which ultimately will form a certain protein. And what are those amino acids which are produced or which are synthesized by the sulfur? They are the cysteine and methionine. So bacteria can obtain the sulfur in the form of the inorganic or the organic sulfur compounds. Bacteria also need phosphorus for the synthesis of our genetic material or nucleic acid. You know that nucleic acids is of two types, DNA or RNA. DNA is our genetic material. So phosphorus is an important compound or is an important element which is required for the synthesis of the nucleic acid. So bacteria utilize the phosphorus usually in the form of the phosphate. And the phosphate is an essential component of the nucleotides, nucleic acid, and the phospholipids. Phospholipids, you know that phospholipids are the important part of the cell wall or the cell membrane. And phosphate group is also required for the synthesis of our genetic material which is called the nucleic acid. And nucleic acid is formed by the nucleotides which is made up of phosphate group, sugar, and a nitrogenous base. Okay, the next part is the nutritional types of the bacteria. So on the basis of taking nutrition, bacteria can be divided into the two types, autotrophic and heterotrophic. What are the autotrophic bacteria? Auto mean by self, by their own. Autotrophic bacteria are those bacteria which can synthesize their food by their own. Means they have the certain compounds in their body by which they can synthesize their own food. While the second type of the bacteria is the heterotrophic bacteria. Heterotrophic bacteria are those bacteria which cannot synthesize their food and they are dependent upon the other organisms for taking their food. So heterotrophic bacteria cannot synthesize their food by their own. They just depend upon the other organisms for taking food. Autotrophic bacteria are further divided into the following types: photoautotrophs, and the second one is the chemoautotroph. So first we will talk about the photoautotrophs. Photo mean light, and autotrophs are those bacteria which can synthesize their food by their own. So the bacteria in which the energy source is the light, the bacteria which utilize the light energy for the formation of their food, for the formation of their organic compounds, such bacteria are called as the photoautotrophs. So like the plants, such bacteria possess a chlorophyll. A chlorophyll, it is a pigment which is present in the leaves, green parts of the plant, by which by using that pigment, bacteria can capture the light energy and they can synthesize their own food. Same as in plants also has the chlorophyll, and by using the chlorophyll they can capture the light energy and can synthesize their own food. So like plants, some bacteria also possess the chlorophyll, due to which they are able to synthesize their own food. And chlorophyll in case of the bacteria is not present in the chloroplast, because in the bacteria the chloroplast is not present. In the plants chloroplast, there is an organelle, a chloroplast is present in which chlorophyll is found. But in case of the bacteria there is no chloroplast. So in case of the bacteria, chlorophyll is dispersed in the cytoplasm. And in case of the bacteria, the hydrogen source is the hydrogen sulfide instead of the water. So the equation would be the two molecules of the hydrogen sulfide when react with the carbon dioxide in the presence of the light energy and the chlorophyll, which is called the bacteriochlorophyll in case of the bacteria. So it will release CH2O plus 2S and a water molecule. So this is about the photoautotrophs, which are the bacteria which can synthesize their food by their own due to the presence of the pigment chlorophyll. The second type of the autotrophic bacteria is called as the chemoautotrophs. Chemo, by their name, chemo is related to the chemicals. So bacteria which derive energy from the oxidation of the inorganic chemical substances during the process of the respiration. So if the bacteria obtain the energy from the certain chemical by the breakdown of the certain chemical compounds or by the breakdown of the certain inorganic chemical substances during the process of the respiration, so such bacteria are called as the chemoautotrophs. Chemo mean chemical. So chemosynthetic bacteria can be further divided into the various types. Like the first one is the nitrifying bacteria. Nitrifying bacteria means the bacteria which use the any nitrogen source for taking energy. So nitrifying bacteria, they are mostly present in the soil. They inhabit the soil and they oxidizes ammonia into the nitrites and the nitrates. And the example of the nitrifying bacteria is the Nitrobacter. For example, in the following equation you can see that ammonia will react with the oxygen, and it in the presence of the Nitrobacter bacteria. So it will give the nitrites plus water molecule and 158 kilocalorie energy. So the energy which is released from this process is utilized by the bacteria for the synthesis of their food. And in the next equation, the nitrites will react with again with the oxygen, and it will convert into the nitrates, and again the energy will release, that would be the 40 kilocalorie, and that energy will also utilized by the bacteria for the formation of their food material. Okay, the chemoautotrophic bacteria can also have the other types like the methane bacteria. So methane bacteria, their name represents, they are those bacteria which oxidizes the methane to the carbon dioxide. So in this case, the bacteria oxidize the methane and the carbon dioxide is released, and methane is a source of the both carbon Methane is the source of the both carbon as well as the energy for these bacteria, and the example of the methane bacteria is Methanosomonas. And in the equation you can see that methane will react with oxygen in the presence of the Methanosomonas, and it will give us carbon dioxide, water and energy. Okay. The second type of the bacteria on the basis of the nutrition are called heterotrophic bacteria. Heterotrophic bacteria are those which cannot be synthesized their own food material, and they are further classified into the following types. The first one is the saprotrophic bacteria. Saprotrophic bacteria are those bacteria which can obtain their food from the dead and decaying organic matter, and they are called as the saprotrophic bacteria because they obtain their food from the dead decaying organic matter. For example, if any organism is dead and its body is present on the roadside or on the surface of the soil, so after some days you will see that the organic mass of the body will be disappeared. And what is the reason of that? The reason is the soil is full of the saprotrophic bacteria, and those bacteria will break down or eat up the organic mass of the body or the dead body. Same as in case that if you will see that there are a number of the falling leaves present on the surface of the soil, and after some days all the leaves will be disappeared. The reason of their disappearance is the presence of the saprotrophic bacteria in the soil. The bacteria will eat all the dead and decaying organic matter, and in a few days all the organic matter will be disappeared from that place. So the reason is the saprotrophic bacteria is present all over the soil, and they basically obtain their food material from the dead and decaying organic matter, whether they are the falling leaves or the dead bodies of the different organisms. So saprotrophic bacteria also called as the decomposers because they break down the complex organic substances into the simpler one, and by this catalytic activity they also increase the fertility of the soil, and they help in the nutrient recycling. And how they help in the nutrient recycling? When they decompose or they break down the dead and decaying organic matter, those organic matter, those complex organic compounds change into the simpler ones, and they again become the part of the soil, due to which the soil fertility will be enhanced. Okay. The next type of the heterotrophic bacteria is the parasitic bacteria. Parasites are those microorganisms which reside on the body of another organism and get food from the body of the other organism. That organisms from which the parasites get their food, the organism is called as a host. So parasites are those microorganisms which reside on the body of another organism and get food from that organism, and as a result give harm to the other organism or cause disease in the body of their host. So there are also some bacteria which are the pathogens or virulent, or they cause the diseases in the different organisms. They reside in the body of the other organisms and give them harm. So these bacteria reside in the body of the another organisms and use their enzyme system to break down food and get food from their body. And such bacteria, which are called as the parasitic bacteria, they are harmful. They are always harmful and they cause diseases in the host. Such bacteria are called as the pathogens. For example, Pneumococcus Pneumococcus is a bacteria which cause a disease called as the pneumonia. Okay. Okay, there are also certain bacteria which are called as a symbiotic. There are also certain heterotrophic bacteria which are called as a symbiotic bacteria. Symbiotic association is that sort of association in which two organisms get mutual benefit from each other. So what happened in case of the symbiotic bacteria are mostly present or they are attached with the roots of the higher plants. For example, rhizobium are the symbiotic bacteria, and they are attached with the roots of the leguminous plants. Leguminous plants are the pea plant. They reside in the nodules of the plants, fix atmospheric nitrogen. Their function is they fix the atmospheric nitrogen and provide the nitrogenous compounds to the plants. Because the plants cannot directly utilize the atmospheric nitrogen, so the nitrogenous bacteria or the bacteria which present or attached to the roots of the higher plants like leguminous plants, they fix the atmospheric nitrogen and provide the nitrogen in the form of the nitrate or the nitrites to the plants. So the plants can get the nitrogen from the bacteria, and in return the bacteria get food from the roots of the plants. And what are the nodules? In the below diagram you can see with the roots of the leguminous plants rounded structures are attached, and those rounded structures basically are the habitat of nitrogen fixing bacteria or rhizobium bacteria. So in case of the symbiotic bacteria, you can see they are attached with the roots of the plant, and they provide the plants with the nitrogenous compounds, and in return they get food from the roots of the plant in the form of the carbohydrates. So symbiotic association is a type of association in which the both organisms get mutual benefit from each other.